This is Lesson 11, Activity 11.3. So area, perimeter, and congruence. So we're going to look at the area of these rectangles. We're going to look at the perimeter, so the distance around each rectangle. And we're going to figure out which ones are congruent. What does it take to have congruent rectangles in this case? So first of all, which ones are congruent? Where the perimeter is the same and the area is the same. So if you look at these pairs, so A compared to E and also R, each of those have a perimeter of 10 units around the rectangle. So A has a perimeter of 10, E has a perimeter of 10, and R has a perimeter of 10. And likewise, they all also have the same area because they are 3 units along a length and 2 units wide in every case. 2 times 3 is an area of 6 square units. So R is 6 square units, E is 6 square units, and A is 6 square units. So the perimeter is the same and the area is the same for those 3 rectangles, so they are congruent. They are the same. You could lay one right on top of the other and they would match up. B and C are also congruent. So B has a perimeter of 14 units, so it's 14 units around, and C also has a perimeter of 14 units around. B has an area of 6 units, so it's 6 times 1, 6 square units, and C has an area of 6 square units, 6 times 1. So these two have the same perimeter and the same area. They are congruent. Now remember, the area comes from multiplying the length times the sides. So if the length and the sides are the same, you get the same area, and likewise you are going to get the same perimeter if they're the same. All right, D and F, so the perimeter is 10 units around, 10 units around, and the area in both cases is 4. 4 times 1 is 4 square units. So 4 square units. So D and F are also congruent. Now, what if you have the same perimeter but different area? So what I'd like you to do now is look at A, B, and D. Just look at these 3 rectangles. So A and B both have an area of 6 square units, although they have different perimeters. So B has a perimeter of 14 units, and A has a perimeter of 10 units. So because they have different perimeters, they look different. They are not congruent. They are different rectangles, even though they have the same area. If you compare A to D, they have the same perimeter, so it's the same distance around, 10 units around for each of them, but A has an area of 6 square units, and D has an area of only 4 square units. So in this case, same perimeter, 10 units around, but different area, so they also look different. They are not congruent rectangles. So more practice on recognizing what congruency means. And in this case for rectangles, if you have the same area and the same perimeter, then they will be congruent. They will be equal or they're the same rectangles.